Hey y'all, Bench Brad here, and this is my 1022 takedown video. So let's start. The 1022, this is one of the newer variants, but they've been produced since 1964. To date, there's been approximately 5 million of these things sold. They're kind of like those McDonald's burgers, they just keep going off. The reason is the 1022 is an incredibly popular platform. It's chambered in 22 long rifle. You could shoot shorts and longs in it, but it won't cycle. You'll have to feed them manually. But yeah, chambered in long rifle, so it's just pennies to shoot. Ammo's available everywhere. You can pick up bricks of it, 500 rounds of it for anywhere from $20 to $30, depending on your area, and that's a lot of fun in a box. They're accurate. It's about 37 inches long. This is the takedown variant. They come in many models, one piece, traditional style rifle. The takedown, they come in stainless, which this is the stainless edition, a regular blued edition. They come with different stocks available, dealer exclusives. The thing about this is the 1022 is like the Honda Tinker Toy, however you want to call it, catalog gun. Like next to like an AR platform, this thing you could buy so many different receivers and bolts and barrels and stocks, and just there's options and options and options because it's a solid platform to build from. And even just out of the box, you could get these things for the $200 neighborhood to start out with, brand new. You know, the single barrel length. It comes with a 10 round magazine. You could also get this is the most popular, my favorite, but you could also get 25 banana clips. You could get 50 rounds and 100 rounds in the aftermarket. The trick to that, people, if you go to get anything, I like to go factory equipment, but make sure it has steel lips. You don't want the plastic polymer lips. You want steel lips on your magazines, because if not, they won't feed right. Because I've tried some of the older Butler Creeks and all that, and they suck. It's really pretty obvious on this thing. I have this sweet Magpul Backpacker X22 stock. Now this thing is definitely the cat's pajamas, because look at it. That thing fits in my backpack. It's bam, it goes right behind my back. And it doesn't protrude. It's out of the way. It handles. You can carry it in and out of the house, and the neighbors don't think that you're just like constantly going on this mass murdering spree. Slingage here is something that I just found randomly on Amazon. I like it because it's a quick adjustable, and I've gone back and forth on which way I like it to slide, and I'm kind of always evolving in my setup. But it has a quick release up here on the top. I didn't, because the Magpul little bungy things are kind of expensive. I just cheaped out and just have a bolt in this side, put it in through here, because I didn't want this side coming loose anyways. I wanted it fixed and not coming loose. But yeah, there's a quick release here. The sights I have on this are from Hi-Vis, and it's neon day glow style. I wish they came with, when you bought this little keeper for the things, but they somehow fell out of the corner of the Ziploc where I had the instructions. Because when you're shooting the orange sights, like in this video, or shooting orange targets, the orange sights are kind of like, oh, when the sight disappears, you're on it. So that makes it a little more interesting. I hated the front sight, or the back sight here. It had this little day glow. I don't know how well you guys could see, but there's 2 little holes left in there. And then on that side, you can see the channel for where it laid in. But it had this little day glow green strip, and I hated that. I could never see the back. You know, not young, I'm not old, but you know, my eyesight is changing, and the crispness of that rear sight was real, this was real fuzzy, and so it was distracting enough where I couldn't tell that I was squared up with my front sight. I taped it over. It made a big difference, so I just came home, clipped that thing out, and ended up filling it in with a little bit of paint. Besides that, I like the Hi-Vis rear sight because it's adjustable up and down a lot easier. a lot more finer adjustment than the stock. And then the Day-Glo front sight makes just sight acquiring a lot simpler. But the stock brass sights on this gun are pretty sweet. Now, when it comes to the takedown of all this, it's pretty simple. The stock barrel just is plastic, is similar to this and breaks in half, but it's not a takedown. So, or it's not the clip together like the Magpul backpacker is here. So you kind of just, things clunk around in your backpack. But the cool thing, when you get the takedown, they do provide you with a pretty sweet case to put it all in. And multiple options for barrels. So anyways, when you go to do this, to not damage your extractor, you need to pull this back out and then flip this thing up. Now this is certainly, if I had one gripe to Ruger, would be this stupid little thing right here, because I've gotten pretty decent at operating it. It's, you pull it back, you pull it down, and then you push it up and you release, back, pull it down, and then you gotta hold it down and let the bolt come forward to actually hold on to it. It's kind of a pain. And the other thing is this just straight up stamped steel. Like, you can see it's all shiny from me running it. But, man, they could have radiused that corner a little bit. And probably the next time I take it down for a full cleaning, I'm going to do that. But anyways, you want to make sure your bolt's back and locked. So that way you're not damaging your extractor pin right here. And then this thing just, it clippity-clip clips. It's a little canted angle. And when you slide it in and twist it, and squeeze. It's got this nice adjusting collar here to keep tension on the barrel. It comes with a rail system for typical scopes and Weaver style. I was kind of leery about it since it was takedown, but it's kind of hard to find people that are complaining much about drift with these guns when they're running receiver mounted optics. Not a lot of drift. I tried to put a scope on this thing, shot it for one day, and just didn't like it. I would have liked to set up another bolt action gun with just a scope on it. But for this gun, it totally ruined it. Even a red dot or anything, because when you pack this thing down, look how clean that is. Like, that just is just, it slides right in it. The only thing that really protrudes out of the whole gun is the extractor arm or the bolt, the action there. But that's the only thing that really protrudes. The gun's a very clean, fits in a backpack sort of thing. So I didn't want a big optic, and that's why I really like how the Hive is too, folds down. So it stays out of the way. This is not really an issue up here. So that's just kind of my thoughts on scope. But yeah, when you plug it together, it's just bam, bam. As you saw in the video, this just thing clips right up in here. And that's the magazine mag release here on the bottom. Spring loaded out. Cycle your action. Move it to fire, and she's a blinker. But I really like it. Quick into action. Cheap to operate. Like I said, the rounds are just stupid, obnoxiously cheap for this thing. When it comes to cleaning, my traditional cleaning is bolt back. Make sure your bolt's back. Pull the little lever here forward. Give it a half twist. Pull it loose. And you want to make sure that you keep this real clean, because you will scar it up and you'll lose tolerances and all that. So pay good mind to that. But yeah, the thing's stupid, simple to operate, cheap to run. When it comes to cleaning, all I do is for general, every 500 or every time I go out, I pull the receiver back, check to make sure the bolt face in here is, I guess it's so hard for you guys to see, but where it hits the back of the round, it gets kind of dirty in there. I make sure there's nothing built up in there. I wipe around a Q-tip to try to get the heavy dirt out, and then I wipe just a Q-tip that's clean with a little bit of gun oil on it. I wipe the bar or the rod here that the spring runs on. You see it's back there in the corner here. I wipe that, just a light wipe of oil so that spring runs free. And then I let the bolt forward. And then just on the 3 little high spots right there, I clean everything in here. Then I just give that a light coating of oil. Ruger recommends you run the receiver dry and only lubricate it in a few light spots like that. That's where I found the best results. And then I clean the gun with one of those fancy bore snakes. They're pretty dang cool. And then with a CLP break-free oil, and that's it. And she's ready to go. Every brick of ammo or so, I'll pull the receiver apart, and it's real simple to do. It just takes one Allen here, receiver comes out, knock a couple of pins sideways, and you have your whole bottom group apart, and the bolts and everything comes right out. It's a simple, awesome gun for cleaning and maintenance and that sort of thing. So the versatility of this gun is really quite varied, from plinking, target shooting, teaching somebody to shoot, hunt, any of that sort of thing. Hunting with it's quite popular. There's speed, steel competitions where guys have super souped up 10-22s that they do speed shooting with, steel targets. But look at that round. That is Jowski. There's no... this is a 40 grain bullet, Aguila, something, sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong, I know it. But 36, 40 grain, somewhere in there is pretty standard. There's like no recoil. Like the recoil is just very, there's enough where you realize the gun's going off, but it's pellet gun recoil-ish. So it's awesome to teach people to shoot. And if you don't like it, I have a big thing with noise. I don't like loud, obnoxious noise. It really kind of rattles me. So one of my favorite things about shooting a 22 is I wear earplugs. You should always wear earplugs, but it doesn't bother me. I could plink all day with a 22, and the noise does not bug me. That's a real great advantage for neighborhoods, that sort of thing. I would love to get a muffler for this thing. Some people call them silencers or whatever else, but they don't silence the gun. They just kind of muffle it down. Then it makes a nice little poof, poof, poof. And then that way you're not bugging people when you're out shooting, and it's less obnoxious to you and all that. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. The 22 is incredibly just easy to handle. It's cheap to run. It's versatile. You could pretty much walk in anywhere and pick up some 22 long rifle ammo. And the gun itself, like I kind of touched on, there's so many aftermarket parts available, accessories, grips or stocks, four grips, different bolts, different actions, sights. It's quite a versatile gun, and it has just a solid reputation. And if it's something you guys are kind of considering, wondering about, thinking about, getting into the shooting sports or any of that, take a look at the 10-22 and all its different variants. There's so many cool things about it. Now, you guys are probably wondering, like I said, this is the stainless edition, but on it I have this tape, Gorilla tape. And this is not a standard thing, and it's not something I want to keep, because taping like this, even if it's stainless, you're going to hold moisture, you're going to hold debris, and you're going to end up hurting the barrel. The reason why this is on there is kind of just more of a tester, to see if I like the idea. I don't like black assault guns. That kind of bugs me. But a camo gun, it's kind of always neat. And then, it's just kind of my whole status of don't skyline yourself, lay low. And when you got a sleek and sexy package like this, isn't that just cool to just lay it against a bush and it disappears? Right now, the receiver sticks out, and it's not a stainless receiver. It's aluminum casting, which is kind of a bummer, but it's a nice chrome-plated bolts and that sort of thing. So what I'm getting at here is, what do you guys think I should do? I want to do it to the receiver and to my barrel, but should I do the Cerakoting? Should I just rattle can paint it? What should I do? What would you guys do? What are your favorite things, and what paint scheme? Should I go with just like a tan to match the stock? Should I do some camo? Should I don't know. There's that silk screening, that dipping, hydro stuff. Should I look into doing something like that? Some cool camo pattern? What camo pattern? What do you guys think? Put your comments below. And also I want to know, do you have a 10-22? Have you shot one? Did you learn to shoot on the 22? What is your experiences with such a venerable gun? You guys have a good one. Thanks for tagging in. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of this cool stuff, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's do some more of this.